All right, so we're going to take a look at how this class is actually organized and what you have to do on a daily basis in order to complete the work, get done, and move forward. So, a little information that you need to know about how Google set this up. You will note within the first few videos you watch that Google is very proud that they set this up without any help. In other words, they didn't talk to anybody in education about how you ought to set something up to be able to teach somebody. And that's good and bad, right? The good part of it, the part that I like about it, and I'm an instructor, right? The good part I like about it is basically they have taken and said, this is the information and knowledge that we believe somebody needs to have when they first start. And that is really awesome. That's the good part about it. The bad part about it is that some of the topics, especially as you get towards the end, are big. They're really big topics, and they don't give you enough information to really truly understand that topic. With the whole section on security, I have a class called Ethical Hacker, and that is not the first time that we talk about security. We talk about security in networking, we talk about it in operating systems. So by the time you get to Ethical Hacker, you at least know something about it, right? And then we take a whole semester to get that done. And they're going to just blow some things at you for a few weeks, and you're going to go, okay, kind of got that, kind of understand it. And that's the problem with where it is now is it's kind of like, yeah, we did this all on our own, take a look. But we don't know how to put the information together, the complex stuff together in a way where you'll really understand it. And that does become a struggle. I'm honestly telling you that. It does become a struggle. Now, you're going to note I can't change any of this stuff, right? So I can't inject some information into it because that's what I would be doing, right? I would be looking at there and like, well, they missed this, they missed this. The student needs to know these things before they get to where you put them, right? And I would have that in there, but I can't, right? They don't want me doing it. They want to lock it down and say, this is what you get, this is what you need to do. And so I don't have that ability to do it. When you get to that stuff, please ask me questions because some people will understand some things, some people will understand other things. And I love it when somebody says, I don't get this whole IP thing. How's the subnet mask working here? Or they talked about hashing. I don't understand why you would use a hash. That kind of stuff. Send me a message. If it's a super complex thing, I'll actually probably do a video just like I'm doing here because that's the best way to get it done. Otherwise, I'll send something to you as quick as possible. I usually will get back to you in that day. That's my role here, is to help you through that difficult stuff. And so, yeah, I'm administering the course, but I really don't feel like I'm doing my full job unless you're asking me questions and saying, Google didn't explain this. What does this mean? So take the time to do that. You need to get through the first information as quickly as possible. It doesn't matter if you're taking this in a summer course where it's really super condensed or if you're taking it in a semester course where it's still really condensed. You need to get through the first information quickly as possible. In other words, you should be able to finish it in a week, right? That the first set of information that they give you is not the technical stuff that you're going to be dealing with later. It's the easier stuff. And I know you may not be into computers at all. And so you're like, hey, this is difficult for me. I'm just trying to let you know the other stuff is going to take more time. So get through that first section, that first unit, which is basically your introduction to IT support. Get through that in a week, and then that'll give you more breathing time for the rest. All right, so this is the Google stuff. All right, Google uses a product known as Quick Labs. I got my little arrow up here for Quick Labs, and that's what it uses. Now you start over here in Canvas, and you click the link, and then that loads into Quick Labs. So what's happening, the important process of this, it's taking the login that you're doing in Canvas and authenticating you over into Quick Labs. So that's an important thing that's happening. And how do you get this certification? Is it mailed to you when you're done, or what happens? They actually use Credly, and basically that can be tied into your LinkedIn account. And I do find that, out here in the Wild West where we live, a lot of people, they don't really use LinkedIn. And I have all my students, as a matter of fact, in a couple of my classes, it's required that they go create a LinkedIn account. And so you should do that because LinkedIn is like your business Facebook, right? It's your curated place that you put information about who you are, academically as well as business wise. And people can actually go and say yes, they have these skills. And so it's kind of neat, honestly. So one of my old bosses that I got along with, really well, when I created a LinkedIn account and said I could do these things, he's like, yeah, he can do those things. I saw him do those. That's what LinkedIn is about. So Credly is a way to show that you're accredited in something. That's what they're showing here: server systems, specialty, level 2, VMware certified, that kind of stuff. And so that's how, when you're all done, you will get the ability to have a Credly sticker, basically, that you put into your LinkedIn account. And also, as a part of Credly, being able to say, here's a link you can click on, because most things have gone digital. And so a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing when you go get a job is sending a PDF of what you have, and you can have a link right there, and they can click it, and it'll go over to Credly and say, there they are, they have that cert. And that's important, because think about this: I've got a bunch of certs on my wall, but they don't mean anything because I can go and print them, and I can go online and find one and just print it off and put my name on it. What really counts is when I say, yeah, click this link and it'll go over to CompTIA or over to Microsoft. And then from there, it says, yes, they're accredited. That's what is really important. Some people have had, when they get to the end of the course, they're kind of like, hey, I feel gypped. I don't have anything to put on my wall. Well, I'm sure they have something that you can print out and put on your wall. I haven't gone in there to see, but I'm sure Credly has something like that. But that's great that it's on your wall. But again, it's so easily done. You can easily just make that stuff up. That this means more. It means more to have this third party be able to say, yeah, they've got this, and it should be in your LinkedIn account. Having said that, I'm going to mention it now. I know it's the start of the class. I'll mention it again in an email later. But having said all this, you need to make sure that when you get that information, that you create a Credly account. See where we got sign in right here, under not just your monster mail, right? That you're putting in a personal um, email address so that you can access that whenever you need to. So I'll have some information and I'll post that out there when we get done with the second class. Let's take a look at what we see here. Now, you're going to have different information. I've got all this. You'll have that too. But because I'm the instructor, I'm going to have some tabs like come over here to students, and see what they're doing, that you don't have. Really, what we want to focus on is right over here that I'm clicking on. Right? This is all the information for the first certificate, right? Because they have actually broken this down into 5 different areas. And so this is the first information you have to complete. Get an A in James McBride CMP 155 or 156. You've got to do all the practice quizzes. See, there's a couple right there. And all the graded assessments. See, this is a quiz, and it's a graded quiz, and this is how to count in binary. It's just a document that you look at, as a matter of fact. So in order to get an A in my course, you have to do the graded assessments, anything under graded assessments, as well as the practice quizzes. That's what you have to get done. If you get that stuff done, then you're going to get an A in this class. Now, if you get that stuff done, you'll also get certified. What they're wanting you to do is the graded assessments. And so they have a bunch of stuff that is going to prep you for that, but they've really designed it so that you don't have to do it. That's good and bad. What they've done is designed it for everybody and anybody, right? You already know about, what is IT, then don't watch it. You don't need to watch it. You already know about it, right? You don't want to know about how we got from the abacus to the analytical engine, then don't watch it, right? Just go down and take the test. They have made this so that none of these videos are required to get the certificate, that the graded assessments are what's needed. Now, the thing is that the practice quizzes are really vital because they help you with the other stuff, right? And so that's why I count the practice quizzes. So when I come in here and look at what you've done and I see that you did all the graded assessments, but you did none of the practice quizzes, then expect your score to be lower. You're not going to get an A in the class. You're going to get a B or a C depending on what you've done. The practice quizzes have to be done for this class, and then all the graded assessments. I'm going to open the activity right here so you can see what's going on in this activity. This is the practice quiz. This is it. This is it right there. And so I'm just going to mark some stuff, okay? I'm not going to pay any attention to what's going on. 99, I'm sure that's not right. So anyway, I'm going to just mark some things. What's it? Oh, okay, that one's not answered. And then I'm going to submit it. And it's like, oh man, you only got a 40%. Your passing score is an 80. You have to get an 80. Do you want to retake it? Yeah, you get to retake these tests over and over and over and over and over. So again, they have created it for people that are from anywhere, doing anything. I'm working, I'm not working, whatever. And you have to be on your best behavior. There isn't a safeguard here to make sure that you're learning the information, and it's beyond my control, right? This is not the way that I would run it, but it's how they're running it. And so you can just retake this test, and you can retake it again, and then you have to wait a little while, and then you can retake it again. And it's the same way, right? This is a practice quiz. It's the same way with the graded assessments. You can just do them over and over and over again. Take a look and say, I need to know this. So I'm going to be honest and learn. Because yeah, you could just go in and go, oh, let's see, didn't get that right. Let me try it again. Didn't get it right. Oh, got it right. Let's move on. And that'll obviously take you a lot less time. You'll be able to get through the course very, very quickly doing that. Of course, when you're actually in an interview and they say, what is this Google IT stuff? It was like, well, we learned about IT stuff. You won't really know anything to actually help you out, right? So the videos, all the videos, like if I open this activity, you'll see that all the videos are very short. They're not long. And they're really good, to tell you the truth. And they have the transcript. So if you want to read it, instead of actually watching it, you can read it. Or if you'd like to read it while you're watching it, you can do that. This chat does not get in contact with me. That's their system. And most students say that they're not very helpful. Now, I'll have another video on actually doing a lab because that takes a lot more to do. And those labs are fantastic. And I hope that they bring more and more of them to this material. Because they're fantastic. They're really, really fun, in my opinion. So anyway, sum it up. You got a bunch of information here. I have people that go through every single thing in here, and that's fantastic. But you need to be aware that it's an accelerated course. So there's a lot of stuff you need to go through if you're going to do that. You really need to plan out how long this is going to take you, and realize, like I said in the other video, this is IT support fundamentals. You should be through this in a week. And you're looking and saying, well, that's a lot of information, McBride, but it's true. But I can open up the next 5 sections and you'll realize there's a bunch more coming, right? So this stuff is easier, it's lighter, it's getting you introduced to it. So get through it in a week. I still have students that'll be like, I'm struggling to get through this. There's so much information. And of course, what I'll tell them is go do your quizzes, your practice quizzes, go do your graded assessments, right? So if you're getting bogged down on time, then there's going to be those situations where you may have to cut and run, basically, right? You're going to have to say, I don't have time to go through Kevin's advice here. So I'm going to jump into this computer architecture question and I'm going to get that thing done. because that's what I need to do in order to get through this course. I know most teachers aren't going to tell you that, right? But I'm going to tell you, I understand that life happens, and you got to do that. Learn as much as you can out of this, right? That's the goal. So this is actually a class that happened in spring. So this is the last thing I'm going to show you. Class that happened in spring, and what you're going to end up with is once you complete your little quiz, is you'll have access to Quick Labs, and you'll notice that they're broken down: technical support, bits and bytes of computer networking, and operating systems. This one crosses over, so you'll only complete half of this in the first class, and then you'll start the second half in the last class. So you'll see this one in both places, but they take you to a different set of information, right? Those links will take you there, and you'll notice that I can't lock you down on that. You know, that's another bad thing is you get over here to Quick Labs, and there's no due dates sitting in here because I can't give you any due dates. All as there is all this stuff. And so the due dates are all going to be listed like you need to be through with this by this date, right? You're going to see that every time you go in there because I can't make it happen here. I can't say this is going to close on this date. This is going to close on this date. There's no way to do it. And so you really have to regulate yourself, and you have to look at what I'm telling you that's coming from Canvas and get that done. All right. So any questions from any of that, make sure you ask. Make sure you say, hey, I got some questions. Don't suffer in silence, as they say. And the next one will show you, all right, how do you get one of these labs done? So we're gonna do a lab. So let me stop my share and end.